It's all there. So I can sleep very well at night and not have to think about the 50 programs or subscriptions or things that I need.
I want to change lives. I want to show people how to progress in their money. I want to show people how to progress in their mindset. I want to show people how to progress in their brand so that way they can take care of their family, take care of their finances, and experience freedom.
Hi, Daisy. Thank you for joining us for this Progreda podcast where we're showcasing our entrepreneurs and their stories using our platforms. Do you mind introducing yourself and giving us your story with your business?
Okay, absolutely. Hi, Myra. So, my name is Daisy. I am a business strategist and I help aspiring business owners and startups legally and professionally start their businesses the right way with a streamlined process, proper tools, resources, education, training, and support. The reason I started my business is because my mom she was an entrepreneur to her core, and she started many business ventures on her own, but she didn't have any of the things that I mentioned. She didn't have the proper tools and resources to help her. She didn't have the proper business education, training and support. And so her businesses were not as successful as they could have been should she had those things. And unfortunately, she wouldn't see them come to full fruition because she passed away a month before my high school graduation. And so it's been my mission to help other people in that starting position to really get a good start and really build a business that is successful and profitable. So that is my mission. I specifically help people who are transitioning from a 9 to 5 into their own business because I am an expert in that area as I have done the same thing myself. So that's really who I focus on because that was the same position my mom was in. Her business ventures were part-time. She had a thrift store and she was a caterer. And she did those things very well, but if she was able to fully transition and have everything she needed, she would have been much more successful in her businesses.
Well, I'm pretty sure your mom must be proud of what you've done and how far you've come.
Thank you.
But tell us what first attracted you to Progreda and Audate Media as a whole.
As a whole, based on what I just told you, my story,
Mhm.
knowing the mission that I wanted to accomplish, I just really needed something. I didn't know what that something was, but I just really, I need something that's really going to help me and put it all together. I need this and I need that. And it was like 50 different things that I needed. And I was a part of, or I am a part of, the after work networking group on Meetup. And they have all of these events. And I went to one of Andy's events. I can't think of the name of it because I went to multiple actually, but
Mhm.
there's one particular one I stayed on long enough to understand that he offered Progreda, and I never heard of it. And my experience with CRM systems or CRM systems extends to working at the call center and using different systems. That was it. But for myself personally or in a business, I had no idea what it was about. And he just shared like what the program was about, what it did, and the support, education, and training that he provided. I'm like, my spidey senses went off. I'm like, yes, I understand this. It seems so great because instead of the 50 million things that I needed from different applications or services, it just sounded like, well, it seems like this is more comprehensive and inclusive. So I checked it out and I was like, well, it's a investment that I'm willing to make. And even on the call, I was messaging Andy. He was like, "If you're ready to take that leap," and people were messaging, and I was like, "Well, I'm a startup, and I don't know if I need this." He was like, "It's a great deal. You're going to need it. Do it." And I was like, I don't know." And then he was just, saying that what it offered and just giving me more information. He was really answering my question. And I was like, "Okay, just do it." And so
Mhm.
I did it, and it just seemed like Progreda was something that was really going to benefit me. Even at the time, I had no idea what it was about, how to use it, what to do, but I'm glad I took that leap.
I'm glad you did too, because I got to meet you and
Yes.
work with you. Um, and so far, I know you've been using Progreda for some time now. What has been one of your favorite features on the platform so far?
Oh, man, I think my favorite my favorite feature on the platform, I would say the access to the resources to get help. So, like, and before that, I think my favorite feature would have been you, Myra, like, just the access to the one-on-one coaching was just, phenomenal. Um, you guys really worked with me, provided excellent training, and you accepted feedback
Mhm.
and applied it and really just made the experience just above and beyond anything I could have even imagined. So that actually kickstarted my love for the program because I'm like, I got in there, it's so much to do, it's so robust. And I was like, oh my goodness. But having someone who works one on one with you, you don't get that anywhere else, like at all. You get a video or you get, these different things. And so that was really the kickstart. And then once I got into the program, it was really the access to the resources. Like the other day, I had an issue, or so I thought, and so I contacted the chat,
Mhm.
and during the chat, I was like, "Yeah, this is happening, and this is what I'm trying to do." And the agent was like, "Okay, can you tell me more or send me this?" And then the agent sent me screenshots like, "Okay, this is where you should be. This is what, you should be doing," versus like some generic thing or some generic
Mhm.
video or something. So it was very personalized, and it ended up being a user error. Every issue that I had was a user error, and I was like, "Okay, great. I'm so sorry. I thank you for your patience." And they were like, "No, no problem. That's why we're here. What else can we help you with? What other questions?" And I was like, "I don't know. I forgot my question." And they were like, "We'll be right here whenever you figure it out." And then 10 minutes later, I contact the chat again. But that's like my favorite feature because sometimes I get stuck or frustrated, or I'm just like a crazy person at the time. And I'll go to the videos, or I'll type in what I need, or I contact chat. So it would definitely be the support and help um feature because then I can use everything else.
I'm glad to hear that. We do strive here, at Audate Media and especially with Progretta. We want to hear from our customers. We want to know what we can do better. And actually, that chat widget is fairly new, but we were hearing customers who were like, they wanted a little extra help. So, Andy went and got this chat widget with this support. So I'm really glad to hear that, you're using it and that you're having a really great experience because now I can bring it back to Andy and the team and tell them like, hey, customers are loving that feature. So I'm really glad that it's really working out for you.
Yes.
Um, but other than the resource library, what other features on Progretta do you feel has given you either cut off some time from your workload or you just like, oh my God, I didn't even know this feature existed?
I think my favorite would be the funnels because I didn't really understand the difference between a landing page and a website prior to Progretta. Like I've of course seen them from other people and other companies, but not really understanding what it was, its purpose and function, and how to use it. And, like, I literally just redid my entire landing page, learning that it provides focus, or if I have an event or product or service or whatever, I can just make a landing page that focuses on that, which helps the customer or client really focus like, "Oh, this is what she wants me to look at," versus being able to click around and navigate and get distracted. It's like, "Nope, this is it. This is all you have." So the landing page feature and the option to just create unlimited landing pages. Like when I was comparing services and looking at everyone else, there was a limit. And now that I know how to use it, I'm like, oh yeah, I have like landing pages for different things. I create landing pages for my clients. It's really helped me expand my business because I can actually offer it as a service to my clients that don't know about it, don't care about it, don't wanna do the back end things, and I'm like, "Okay, I have it, I can do it for you." And so, yeah, the landing pages, it's just been, like, a phenomenal feature that Progreda makes easy to, create them.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that once I create one, even this new template that I have, I can create it and then I can clone it over and over and over, and then just go in and change the intimate details, like the color scheme or the pictures or whatever, but everything else is formatted and ready to go. So the landing pages plus the cloning feature to just kind of like duplicate, and make life easier. So once I got the hang of it, um, it just became just so much easier to do, and I was able to cut down a lot of time instead of sitting there having to start from scratch each time or think of new things. It's like it's already there, clone it and keep pushing. So that's my favorite.
And previous before working with Progreda, did you have experience with funnels and landing pages?
Absolutely not. No. Landing pages, no, because now I know the exact difference. I had experience with websites and I hate websites. It's just so much like it's a little bit more difficult to create. And I haven't even created a website in Progretta yet, but I do plan on doing it because everything is already there and I can already use some things that I have in place. But before that, no, it was just websites. And I was like, I don't want to make another website. This is no, and I don't have to. I can just create my funnels. And then once I create my website, I can add all the funnels that I have. It has different buttons or in different areas, so it'll work out. But definitely starting out and starting up landing pages and funnels like all day, I would recommend it to anyone.
That's awesome. And you mentioned earlier in our conversation, that you're really in the more startup steps. What would your advice be to other people like you who are thinking about getting a CRM or they're not really sure because again, they might be just starting off?
My advice would be just do it. Get Progretta. I got it what I thought was prematurely, and it ended up being just awesome. Like really awesome. And I just love the fact that you got it's continuously growing and building, adding and getting better. And a lot of times when I look at other people's pages and setups, I noticed that they're using ClickFunnels, Flow Pages, Kajabi. They're using it in like 10 different services, but I don't have to because I have Progretta. So I can easily change my landing page to look a certain way, or I can easily create an online course. I can easily create what's the thing? Redirect links. So if I have some crazy Google link that looks crazy, I can create a redirect link that uses my domain. I don't have to use Bitly or whatever the other things are people use. It's like all these different things. I just come to Progretta, and if I don't know, I use my help services, figure it out, and then, but it's so comprehensive and robust. I was intimidated, but if I didn't have the help to learn the things piece by piece and to really understand, I would have been overwhelmed and frustrated. But that's why I'm glad you have the automatic for training sessions, once you purchase and you just don't get that from anyone else. So my advice would be do it, get it. It will save you time, it will save you money because you don't have 50 different subscriptions. You have one through Progretta. So it's totally worth it. Just do it. I know being a startup and collecting different expenses can be a little nerve-wracking, like, but when you think about having to pay for all the separate services, it just only makes sense. And I'm a business strategist, right? So I'm always strategizing like, how can I be better? How can this be more efficient and effective? And Progretta is just that efficient and effective.
Awesome. And I know you work with other businesses, and I know Progreda does have a feature where you can have staff members added. Are you the only one using Progreda, or do you also have a staff team on there?
So I also have a staff team, and I was able to, because of the training resources and the help, I was able to get my staff fully trained on Progretta. It was at their own pace, but once they actually got into the videos and doing the different things that I was having them do, they completed the full training quicker than I did. Like it was in less than a week, and I
Mhm.
was able to get them on board, get them their own account to log in. So as they were doing the trainings, they could click around and see the things. And then once I gave them access, it was like, okay, your task will be there in there weekly and, do it. And if you have questions, contact me outside of that. And so it was really easy to train them on Progretta and set them up with own account and get them involved so that I could then focus on other business aspects. So with my team being able to use it's myself and then two other team members. But with them being able to have that access, it makes Progretta like even better. And I like that it's not like it's included. It's not a separate service or something. So I do like that as well. But my team members, they love it also, and always finding something new or different. I'm like, "Hey, I need this done." "Okay, I'll figure it out," and then I'll get some message, "Hey, I went in Progretta and I figured out how to do the email campaign." And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Okay, great. Send me a test email." And then they send me a test email before publishing it, and I'm like, "Okay, looks great." And then I give them feedback, set up another task, and then it's done. It's not, some long drawn out process, especially with us being in different time zones. One of my team members, I'm in Japan, one of my team members is in Thailand, another in the States. So they don't have to wait on me. They don't have to, you know, do anything. The tasks are already there. They know how to use it. They know what to do. So it just cuts down on confusion and it provides independence, a level of independence that they can use to be successful in the program.
And then I hear you mentioning a lot about tasks. So are you assigning the tasks through Progreda?
Oh, absolutely. Everything I assign is through Progretta, even if I'm using outside resources of any sort, because some things that we have are shared through like Google Files because all of my original stuff was there. And one task was, okay, all of my email templates from Google Files, please convert those to Progretta. So when we go in and do things, I'm not having to copy and paste or track down this and that. Excuse me. And so created that task in Progretta to convert those things from Google Drive to Progretta, and it worked seamlessly. Everything was added from the contact information to my logo, and it just worked well. And we're getting into trigger links. We haven't gotten to it yet, but that because we've converted from Google Drive to Progretta, I can use features like trigger links and things of that sort. So it's been great.
I'm amazed to hear that. I love that you're, learning new features. 'Cause I know we went over some items, but like again, it is a robust site, so it's really hard to explain everything. So that really makes me happy that you and your team are using this platform and exploring the different features. I know it's really hard to explain how robust and how many things are on there. Um, but I know tasks. I know it's a small little feature, but when I'm with meeting with clients, I'm always telling them like, "Hey, add a task, make it a
Yeah.
task."
Yep. Make it a task. Make it a task. Too easy. And the other, I think, now that I'm thinking about it, right? The other a piece of advice that I would give is don't be intimidated because like you said, you do provide the, automatic training sessions, but you can only do so much in the training session. So don't be intimidated or discouraged. Just go in and click around and try things. And if all else fails, reach out to the support team for help and they will help you. You can, I've submitted tickets, I've done the chat, I've gotten phone calls, it's just so many different ways that it can be done. So like just get into it, dive in, I would say write down a list of things you need to do or want to do, and then go to Progreda and look, click around, see what you can do, and get into it that way. And then I think my second feature that I like is the automation. Oh my goodness. I have two automations set up that have been working really well for me. The first is setting up a workflow for Instagram. So anyone that DMs me the word CEO, I have a workflow that automatically triggers, and eventually they get to my booking link to schedule a call with me. But that will happen if I'm sleep, awake, partying, vacationing, whatever, So I love that workflow that I have set up and I can just duplicate it. And I did the same thing for Facebook and that was too easy. And then I have another workflow set up for my email campaign. And this is why I contacted chat because I'm like, what is going on? I made this great email campaign. I need a workflow. And screenshot, they send it to me. And I'm like, oh, user error. I didn't do it the right way. So I had to make the email campaign a template. And then I was able to go in my workflow and just once that form is submitted, it triggers and emails the stuff that I needed to email on the spot, like instantly. And so I would not have known about that if we didn't do our one-on-one training on workflows,
Mhm.
and I was able to go back to my original workflow, like, "How did we do the positive and negative answer? Oh, I see," and then I was able to go back to that, see how it was set up, and then I was like, "Okay, I have to make sure I do this, this, and this," and, and I was able to do it within minutes versus the hours it might have taken me if I never knew about it. So that automation is the name of the game because things can happen without me having to be on site or doing it manually. And let's admit, the human brain can only take so much. So I don't want to
Mhm.
forget to send the ebook that I was supposed to send because you signed up. And I'm like, oh, because before I did all of that, I was manually copying, pasting from my Google Drive into the email, attaching the ebook, and then sending it. But I would set a reminder in my phone to do that. And then once I got the workflow set up, well, one, I got the template set up in Progreda, and then I was able to get the workflow set up so I don't have to think. I just have to do one workflow one time, and that's it.
Yeah, I know automations, they're a little scary at first, but once you start making more of them, it starts making a little more sense. I think their automations are pretty user friendly. I've seen some on some other sites where I'm like, how do I even figure this out?
Yep, yep.
Um how else has Progretta helped you stay organized within your business?
Oh, so all of these things I'm doing, the email campaign and the landing page and all these things, it's really for lead generation. And I have different lead magnets set up to trigger and all these things. So what's the purpose of all of that? To get lead. Okay, well, if I get 50 leads, how do I keep up with that? Progretta. It automatically tracks those contacts and the one form that I have, it has their name, their email, their phone number. And so I don't have to sit here and create some Excel sheet and manually, make sure that I have everyone or copy and paste. Progretta automatically helps me keep track of leads. It helps me keep track of my pipeline. So, determining is this a hot lead, like, did they convert into a client or whatever. If they schedule an appointment, you know, were they a no-show? I can track that in Progretta. Just different things. And even if they are a no-show, I can create a workflow that, you know, has something to do with no-shows and all that kind of stuff, or things that can prevent no-shows or mitigate how many I have. And so it helps me keep track of those leads and manage those leads, which is like the meat and potatoes of why I'm doing all these other things, all this setup is to get those people into my funnel and then be able to organize and manage them and sort. And I know that, okay, I should not text or email this person anymore because they unsubscribe or, whatever. So I can keep track of that. I can keep track of birthdays. And if we do have an appointment, I can create notes at the end of that appointment. If I need to create a task for that contact, I can create a task for that contact for my team members or myself and make sure it's getting done. So it just helps manage all of the things that I was trying to keep up with on Google Calendar and alarms and reminders and paper. I don't have to do any of that anymore. It's streamlined, it's digital, it's all in Progreda. And of course, I love the app because we can still get alerts and communicate and see what's going on, the with the contacts and everything. So yeah, it really has helped me in my business just because I have maybe 100 contacts, whereas before I was afraid to, like, get too many contacts because I was manually keeping up with it. So if I wasn't able to collect more contacts, I wouldn't be able to grow and have the different things that I have.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they're always like, contacts, contact anymore, but they don't realize, like, okay, do you have a system in place? Like, what are you gonna do when all 100 are reaching out to you?
Yep. Yeah, and it's convenient because if there is a new deal or event or something that I'm rolling out with now, I don't have to sit here and individually email people anymore or, whatever. I can just create the campaign, whatever that's going to be. I can send it to all of my current contacts, and then I can create a workflow where it goes to incoming contacts or whatever. So it's already set up and people will get it, and I don't have to individually think about it. And I can label new product campaign email, and then I know that, okay, that email went out to these people or whatever. So, yeah.
And as you move forward, in your path, what do you hope Progretta can do for you to continue your success?
Well, I know that Progreda will help me just really convert that pipeline into profit eventually, because let's face it, why do people start businesses? Even if it's a nonprofit, they still need profits to help their cause or
Mhm.
whatever's going on. So profit is involved. I'm no different. While my business structure and things are different and my motto is not centered around profits, I still need profits. I still need to be profitable so I can pay for Progretta monthly and so my life can be easier. And so that's, ultimately the goal with using Progretta is to have all these things set up so I can convert all of the different things that I'm doing and monetize them and keep track of even when that does happen because my motto, our number one goal is to do and set up business the right way always. So with Progretta helping me keep track of that, it will make taxes and my financials, my books and things, it will help those things be more accurate and easier to keep up with so I can be IRS compliant so no one comes and pick me up. And so it'll help me with those things as well once I start becoming more profitable and everything is set up there, the from accepting payments to sending invoices to whatever, it's all there. So I can sleep very well at night and not have to think about the 50 programs or subscriptions or things that I need to kind of assist me in my business.
Yeah, and I think you're a prime example of many businesses now, since COVID, which who are just work, remotely. Like you said, you have part of your teams in where you say
Finally.
Thailand and in the States, and it's like that's the new normal now.
Mhm.
So I'm really glad that Progreda is helping you achieve your goals and helping you stay organized and really, being that one-stop shop because I know
Yes.
when you're a business owner, those expenses really, really add up.
Mhm. And I was even able to cut off some expenses, and I'm like, "This is the same I can do this in Progretta," and I plan on eliminating even more once we get things set up and going because it's like, why would I continue to pay for a separate subscription for something that I actually have access to in Progretta? So as I set these things up and get it going and understand, I still will be able to save money because I won't be paying 100 and $200 for this and that over here. It'll, excuse me, all be housed right here in Progretta.
Amazing, amazing. All right, well, thank you for joining me on this episode and again, I wish you the best as you move forward and I'm
You.
wishing you the best using Progreda.
Thank you so much, Myra. I appreciate it. And you stay beautiful. And you guys keep up the good work. I love it. I'll spread the word and just continue to keep using the resources. So thank you.